You know that feeling, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not always easy to name, but it's there, sort of underneath the constant hum of life,
Mm-hmm.
under the to-do lists, the distractions. It creeps in, usually in those quiet moments.
Yeah, when the screen goes dark, maybe.
Right.
Or the room's silent.
Exactly. And
Okay.
suddenly there's nothing else grabbing your attention.
Mm.
And you feel it. That tightness in your chest, or just a dull ache, this unspoken dread.
It's that raw part of yourself, the part you kind of spend your days trying, well, avoid.
We really do. We drown it out with noise, bury it under screen, try to numb it with pleasure, or maybe chase relentless achievement.
Right. Think about the versions of ourselves we put out there. Polished, smiling for the camera, always saying, I'm fine, always in control.
But underneath that, look closely, really look at yourself or anyone. We're all kind of quietly battering some fear, fusion, maybe old trauma, anxiety about the future, shame.
Guilt gets all.
And here's the really unsettling part, the lie that's kind of quietly suffocating. It's the one that whispers you can just escape this pain.
Right, like if you just push harder, move faster, distract yourself better, you'll outrun it.
But what if it's not actually behind you? What if that feeling, that darkness, isn't chasing you, but it's been beneath you the whole time? Part of your foundation, just waiting.
That's a powerful thought. So what if the very things we spend our lives running from, the fear, the grief, the loneliness, regret, what if they're actually the path?
The path to transformation.
Exactly. What if everything you've been taught to avoid isn't an enemy you need to defeat, but more like a gateway you have to walk?
Okay, that's the radical idea we're diving into today. And let's be clear, this isn't some quick fix. No 5-step plan to feel instantly better.
No, this is more like an initiation, a descent, a confrontation maybe.
It's about willingly walking into the storm. Not hoping you won't get wet, but knowing you will. Not to be destroyed, but to be fundamentally changed by.
So this deep dive, it's exploring how embracing that inner darkness, that shadow side, can actually lead to profound growth, maybe even a kind of rebirth.
It's interesting, isn't it? How good we've become at running from pain. We rarely call it that, though.
Oh no, we use better words, staying busy, moving on, being productive, even self-care sometimes.
Right. But if we're really honest with ourselves, a lot of what fills our days isn't about healing. It's about creating just enough noise, enough distraction, drown out the stuff that hurts.
And the modern world makes that incredibly easy. It's designed for it almost. Constant stimulation.
Yeah.
Endless information.
There's always another notification, right? Another video, another message.
Always something pulling your attention outward. It's constant input, and we mistake that constant motion for actually living. But maybe, just maybe, it's a trap, a way to keep us numb.
Because if we had to slow down, even for a minute, if we just sat in silence, what would happen? For many of us, that quiet terrifies.
It's when it comes back, isn't it? The pain returns, the past creeps in, the fear starts whispering.
And so we run again, dive back into work, or parties, or just endlessly scroll on our phones.
Or turn to substance, caffeine, alcohol, sugar, whatever works. Or perfectionism, maybe if I'm perfect, I won't feel this underlying not enoughness.
Or we even run into other people, kind of hoping they can fill that hole inside us that we refuse to look at ourselves.
Yeah, but the thing is, you can't really heal a wound by stuffing it with noise. And you definitely can't outrun something that lives inside you.
It just festers, doesn't it? The more you cover it up.
Exactly. Your body remembers. Your heart remembers. The part of you in pain didn't stop hurting just because you ignored it. It just got buried, and that buried pain, it leaks into everything.
It's like, imagine a deep cut, a physical wound. And instead of cleaning it properly, you just slap a bandage on it and pretend it's fine.
Right. Looks okay from the outside, maybe.
But underneath, it's infected. It's rotting. And eventually that infection spreads. It forces you to stop. The pain becomes too much to ignore.
And emotional pain works exactly the same way. Every time you numb it instead of feeling it, every time you fake that smile, run away instead of staying still, you're basically sealing an infected wound.
You think you're managing, but that unaddressed hurt. It seeps into how you love, how you trust, how you see the world.
And fundamentally, how you see yourself.
So, okay, if pain and fear are just part of being human, maybe unavoidable to some extent, then what is the real enemy here?
Well, the sources we looked at make a really strong case. It's not the pain itself, it's the avoidance. That's what keeps us small, stuck, trapped in lives that might look okay on the surface.
But feel empty inside when we're alone.
Yeah.
So it really makes you wonder, what if discomfort isn't the enemy? What if it's the guide? What if growth actually requires it?
Exactly. Pain isn't the opposite of healing. So often it's a crucial part of it. But we've gotten so used to numbing ourselves, haven't we? Even slight discomfort feels unbearable.
And maybe that keeps us fragile, dependent on anything external to keep us from feeling the weight of our own lives.
Yeah.
So if we're experts at running and avoidance is the real enemy, what exactly is this inner darkness we're running from? It feels like more than just sadness.
It really is. The definition is quite broad when you dig into it. It's basically all the parts of your inner world you actively try not to look at.
Like what?
Every unhealed wound, every part of yourself you've sort of disowned, every truth you won't admit, even to yourself. The silent pain, the guilt, that deep fear of not being good enough, maybe, or being abandoned, not being truly loved.
Wow. So it's not some monster outside. It lives in us.
It's part of you. And until you really face it, it subtly controls things in ways you might not even realize.
That sounds a lot like Carl Jung's idea, the shadow.
Exactly, the brilliant Swiss psychologist. And it's crucial, like you said, it's not necessarily your bad side or evil. It's simpler than that.
It's just the hidden parts.
The parts you tucked away, usually because at some point you learned they weren't okay. Someone made you feel they were unacceptable.
Like maybe you learned anger was bad, so you stuffed it down.
Or you were told to always be strong, so you buried sadness. Or maybe you felt you had to be perfect to get love, so you pushed away anything you saw as a flaw.
And all those rejected pieces, they get shoved in a box, in a basement of our...
That box. And here's where it impacts our daily life. The more you ignore that box,
the more it leaks out.
Precisely.
Yeah.
It shows up as maybe disproportionate fear, sudden anxiety, huge overreaction, addictions you don't understand, patterns of self-sabotage.
So you don't actually escape the shadow.
You just choose. Do you acknowledge it? Or do you let it keep pulling the strings from behind?
Jung had that incredible insight, didn't he? Until you make the unconscious conscious.
It will direct your life, and you will call it fate.
Yeah.
It crystallizes it perfectly.
Meaning, if you don't engage with your own darkness, your own hidden pain,
Yeah.
it runs the show anyway.
Right. You lash out and don't know why, or you shrink back when you want to speak up. You might chase things or people that hurt you because some unconscious part believes that's all you.
Living at war with yourself, essentially.
The shadow doesn't vanish just because you ignore it. It waits, and it often grows stronger in the dark.
So modern psychology points to making the unconscious conscious. But were there older traditions, ancient wisdom, that kind of already knew this, that saw the need to go inwards?
Oh, absolutely. This idea of needing to descend into darkness isn't new at all. It's woven into countless philosophies.
Like Taoism.
Yeah, take Lao Tzu, ancient Chinese philosopher. He spoke of the darkness within dark. He didn't see it as just bad or empty. He saw it as this infinite depth, the mysterious source.
So darkness wasn't just suffering to him, it was sacred.
In a way, yes. A place where true understanding, real humility, genuine wisdom are born. Not despite the darkness, but...
He has that line in the Tao Te Ching, right? Darkness within darkness, the gateway to all understanding.
Exactly. Which feels so counterintuitive to how we usually think, doesn't it? Go deeper into the dark to find...
Yeah. So if Taoism finds this sacredness, how does that compare to maybe a more Western existential view? Like Albert Camus, did he see it the same way?
Camus came at it differently. He didn't really believe in some grand divine plan or inherent meaning in the universe. For him, life was fundamentally absurd, often random, often full of suffering.
Doesn't sound too uplifting.
But here's the twist. Instead of despairing, Camus argued that the beauty of life emerges precisely because of its absurdity. If there's no pre-written meaning, then we are radically free to create our own.
And he wrote that incredible line, "In the depth of winter, I finally learned that within me there lay an invincible summer."
Such a powerful image. It's not just poetry, it's a declaration, isn't it? Even when everything feels meaningless, pointless, dark, there's something inside you that refuses to die.
Something that knows this darkness isn't the end. It could be a beginning.
And this pattern, this need to descend before you can rise, it's everywhere. Joseph Campbell, the mythologist, tracked it across cultures.
The hero's journey.
Exactly. In almost every enduring myth or story, the hero has into the underworld, the cave, the belly of the beast. Think about Odysseus, Orpheus.
Buddha, Jesus, Dante, Luke Skywalker, Neo.
It's always there because intuitively we know darkness isn't the opposite of the journey. It is the journey.
And Campbell's famous quote, "The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek."
Which isn't just about old myths. It's real-world wisdom. The very thing you're most terrified of facing, maybe a past loss, deep shame, an uncomfortable truth, that's precisely where your freedom is waiting.
We don't grow by dodging discomfort.
We grow by meeting it with open eyes, with presence, with honesty. Darkness, when you truly face it, becomes a teacher that the light maybe never could be.
How so? What does it teach?
It humbles profoundly. It deepens you. It forces clarity on what actually matters. It strips away the BS, the noise, the illusions you're clinging to, burns away the masks.
Yeah, and what's left?
What's left is real. Maybe not perfect, definitely not painless, but honest. And that honesty with yourself, that's the solid ground you rebuild on. To fear your own darkness, in a way, is to fear your own power.
Because that's where true strength is hiding. Not just confidence, but real anchored strength.
The kind that can sit in silence, the kind that can face loss without shattering, the kind that knows who you are even when everything else falls apart. This darkness, it's not punishment, it's initiation.
You have to pass through it.
You have to enter the cave, and often when you finally do, when you face the thing you've avoided for years, you realize it wasn't trying to destroy you after all.
It was trying to wake you up.
Something like that, yeah.
Okay, so if avoidance is the enemy and we need to turn towards the difficulty,
Yeah.
what kind of inner strength does that take? It
Yeah.
feels like a different kind of bravery.
It really is. Which brings us to this idea of the warrior mindset. And importantly, this isn't about aggression or fighting others.
It's internal.
Completely. It's about the ability to sit with pain without flint, to carry grief and still move forward, to face fear and still choose to act quiet, grounded, rooted in self-mastery.
So a warrior doesn't run from pain.
A true warrior in this sense walks toward it, into it, through it. Knowing that transformation lies on the other side of that suffering, they understand pain isn't the enemy, fear isn't the end, avoidance.
The Stoics really got this, didn't they? They saw pain not just as something to endure, but almost as something to study. A teacher.
Seneca had that famous line, "We suffer more in imagination than reality."
Meaning the anticipation.
Yeah.
The dread.
Exact. The story we tell ourselves about how awful it will be if we face that often hurts more than the action. When we finally allow ourselves to feel it, it's rarely as catastrophic as our minds predicted.
We realize we can handle more than we thought.
We realize we're stronger than our
Yeah. And then there's Marcus Aurelius, Roman emperor. His life was just filled with pain, loss, war, plague.
unimaginable pressure.
Yet his meditations, personal note, are all about staying calm, ground. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength."
It's about mastering your internal response, isn't it? Not trying to control the uncontrolled world outside.
And Miyamoto Musashi, the undefeated samurai, he seemed to embrace hardship, solitude, facing death constantly.
He really did. In his Book of Five Rings, he said something like, when you stop clinging to safety, you become untouchable. When you stop fearing pain, you become...
Wow. So the real battle is internal, against attachment, fear, ego.
That's what he believed, and it ties into that core Stoic thing.
The obstacle is the way.
Bingo. Whatever stands in your path, pain, loss, failure, isn't something to navigate around. It is the path forward.
Like life gives you difficulty not as punishment, but as a lesson.
Or maybe as training. If you want patience, life gives you annoying people or situations. If you want mental strength, life gives you struggle.
The obstacles are the gym weights, essentially.
And a warrior doesn't complain about they get stronger lifting. This mindset shifts everything. Suffering isn't just happening to you anymore.
It's happening for you.
Potentially. Not because suffering itself is good, but because facing it holds the potential to bring out something powerful. Resilience, compassion, perspective. You can't buy those.
You earn them in the fire.
Exactly. Pain changes. That's unavoidable. But how it...
That's the choice. Bitter or wise. Hardened heart or open. Breakdown or wake up.
The difference isn't the pain, it's your response. Always.
So we've talked about the wisdom in embracing this, not running. How does this confrontation actually lead to transformation? How does it become this alchemy of suffering?
Well, one of the most powerful examples, someone who lived it, was Viktor Frankl.
Holocaust survivor. Man's search for meaning.
Right. He found something incredible in the absolute worst circumstances. He saw that even when you have zero control over what's happening to you, you always retain the freedom to choose your attitude, your response.
He wrote, "When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves."
And that internal shift, that is where the transformation begins. It allows meaning to be forged, even from the deepest suffering.
That idea feels so radical today. We're told pain is a problem to fix. Get rid of it fast.
But what if suffering is the soil where strength and purpose actually grow? There's even a psychological concept for this.
Post-traumatic growth.
Exactly. It describes people who don't just bounce back from trauma, they actually emerge better somehow. More compassionate, more focused, maybe more spiritually awake.
They don't just go back to who they were.
No, they evolve into someone fundamentally new, deeper, wiser. The trauma wasn't an endpoint. It became a turning point, a source of energy, clarity, vision.
Like darkness metabolized becomes light.
That's a beautiful way to put it, yes.
I actually saw this happen with a friend. Let's call him Daniel. Rough childhood, abusive home. Learned early on just to shut down, stay silent, survive.
Common coping mechanism.
As a teen, things spiraled. Drugs, bad relationships, lots of anger, clearly running from that childhood pain. But then everything fell apart. Rock bottom.
Sometimes that's what it takes.
And he stopped running, started facing it low, painfully. Used books, solitude, therapy, lots of journaling.
It's never a quick or easy process, that kind of work.
No, it took years. But gradually, he started to see his trauma didn't have to define him. It could shape him, yes, but on his terms. He didn't forget the pain. He made it a teacher.
Wow.
Today, He mentors others with similar backgrounds. He's incredibly calm, grounded, wise, and it's not in spite of what he went through. It feels like it's because of it.
Those stories are more common than we think. People lose everything, find peace, get sick, realize they weren't truly living, face grief, emerge with more capacity to love.
It reminds me of that Rumi quote again. The wound is where the light enters you.
It feels so true, doesn't it? The place you are most deeply hurt, loss, betrayal, failure, often becomes the very source of your wisdom. Your heart breaks open.
Something softer comes through, more human.
Yeah. Maybe before the pain, you were driven, successful, confident on the outside. But after facing it, you become more compassionate. You judge less. You listen more. You understand stuff because you've lived.
It makes me think, when you shift from asking, why me, to asking, what is this teaching me?
You take your power back instantly. You stop being the victim, become the student.
And maybe later, like Daniel, even a teacher, not in a formal way maybe,
Yeah.
but just by living it.
And that kind of transformation, it doesn't fade. It becomes part of who you are.
Okay, we've covered the why and the what, the philosophy, but the huge question, the one that listeners are asking now is how? How do you actually do this? How do you stop running and start facing what's inside day to day?
Yeah, the practical side. And the truth is, this journey, it doesn't happen out there in the world, not in your job or goals. It happens almost entirely inwardly.
The hardest part isn't life's challenges, but meeting yourself.
Often, yes. Sitting alone, no distractions, and letting yourself hear that voice you've maybe avoided your whole life. The one that says, this is what you're really afraid of. This still hurts. This is who you are underneath.
That inner journey isn't glamorous.
Yeah.
No applause for
Yeah,
that.
it's quiet, slow, often really painful, but it's where genuine healing starts. And the very first step, the most crucial, radical honesty.
Telling yourself the truth. No filters, no masks.
The raw truth, not the polished story. What you really feel, unworthy, angry, ashamed, afraid, the patterns you keep repeating, you have to be willing to.
And journaling can help with that as a mirror.
Hugely powerful tool. Write without censoring. Don't try to sound good. Just let it out. Let the pain speak. Write what hurts, what scares you, what you don't want anyone to know. That's how you start making the unconscious conscious.
Which leads right into Jung's shadow work.
Exact. Courageously bringing those hidden, rejected parts into the light. Jealousy, insecurity, bitterness, pride. Not to shame them, but to acknowledge them.
Because until you accept them, they control you.
In subtle ways, yeah. Shadow work isn't about becoming perfect. It's about becoming whole, accepting all of it.
But doing this alone sounds daunting, overwhelming.
It can be. And that's where therapy can be incredibly valuable. Having a trained professional listen, reflect, without judgment, it can be life-changing.
A good therapist helps you hear yourself more clearly, connect the dots.
Precisely. It's not weakness to seek help. It's incredibly brave.
What about stepping away from the noise, solitude?
Yes, spiritual solitude, or monk mode as some call it. Intentionally stepping away from the world's distraction. Not isolating out of fear, but retreating inward on purpose.
Less scrolling, less background.
Just stillness,
Yeah.
silence. Allowing thoughts and emotions to surface without immediately acting on them or judging them.
Meditation helps cultivate.
And again, not about forcing a blank mind. Just notice thoughts, breath, emotions, letting them come and go. Over time, that builds awareness. You see your own patterns.
And in that awareness, there's space to choose a response.
Instead of just reacting out of habit or pain.
Yes. There's also self-inquiry, asking hard questions.
The art of asking yourself deeply and having the courage to sit with the uncomfortable answer. What am I really avoiding? What belief holds me back? Where did I learn that? What am I clinging?
The power is in the asking. It chips away at illusions.
It really does.
Yeah.
And all of this, it requires a specific kind of courage, not fighting dragons.
The courage to face silence.
Yeah.
To sit with what's real, even if it hurts.
The courage not to abandon yourself when the old wounds surface. When you know yourself this stop, you become solid, anchored.
So, okay, you've walked through the dark, sat with the pain, felt the grief, faced the fear. You went through the fire. What happens next? What's it like after the storm?
That's the part we often miss, isn't it? The aftermath. After the descent, the silence. It's where something new starts, and it's off subtle.
Not always a lightning bolt moment.
Rarely, I think. More like tiny moments, almost imperceptible whispers saying, you're not who you...
So it's not just recovery, it's rebirth.
That's the word. Not going back to how things were. Transforming into someone new. Truer. Deeper. Like the Phoenix myth.
Dying in flames, reborn from ashes.
It doesn't avoid the fire. It becomes new through it.
And this is where Frankl's idea about creating meaning comes.
It really comes alive here. After that inner shift, you start actively making meaning from the suffering. It doesn't erase the pain, but it gives it shape. Turns chaos, clarity, makes it something you can carry, even use.
You might look back at your old self and barely recognize it.
And that's okay. It's part of it. You're not supposed to be the same. Growth isn't just upgrading. It's burning away the false layers to remember who you were meant to be. The new you knows the cost of falling apart.
And knows what it takes to rise again.
Exact. And Rumi's words, the womb is where the light, your deepest wisdom, compassion, it often comes directly from the...
Facing pain makes you more understanding. more present.
Less judgmental, more inclined to listen. It's an authentic strength born from.
And this whole journey cultivates an inner grounding, a peace that doesn't depend on external.
You become anchored in yourself, less shaken by opinions or chaos. You find solace in silence, a place you might have run from before. Now it feels like home.
You're no longer the victim.
You become someone powerful, awake to your patterns, to what matters, using the past not as a weight, but as a loving more deeply because you've known loss, shining brighter because you've touched the dark.
This rebirth builds a strength that lasts.
An inner resilience that isn't easily broken. You know how to sit with yourself. You've proven you can not just survive, but grow from what felt impossible. That's the power, walking through hell, keeping your heart open.
So to wrap this up, pain is coming for all of us. That's not really optional, is it?
Seems to be part of the.
Yeah, but what you do with it, that's where the power lies. Let it bury you or let it shape you. Collapse or rise through it.
And the beautiful, maybe terrifying truth is that choice, it's always yours.
So the final question for you listening, what will you choose the next time pain knocks on your door? Will you run, like maybe you always have? Or will you find the courage to stand your ground? Maybe welcome it. Because now you know the only way out is through. And on the other side, it's not just survival, it's rebirth, becoming who you were always meant to be.